morning, beautiful people. My name is Dan McKittrick, and my pronouns are he, him, and his, and I'm your pulpit host today. On behalf of this congregation, welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Huntsville. We acknowledge that we are on the traditional territory of Native tribes. Whether you have joined us online, or you are here in the sanctuary, we are glad to have you with us in the sacred time we choose to be together. Our congregation is served by our minister, the Reverend Jaimie Simon, who is available for pastoral care or to answer questions about Unitarian Universalism. She may be reached at minister@uuch.org. In your program, you'll note that we are identifying a special announcement person, speaker, but that person is not going to be here today. So I can't introduce them at this time. This is only my second time here. Please forgive me. Please take a moment to silence your electronic devices. But people noises are very welcome here, so your children may make all the noises they want. If you have a joy, sorrow, or important milestone that you have liked shared during the Circle of Candles and included in our pastoral care today, please write it on one of the white cards found in the hymnal rack in front of you and place it in the offering basket when that basket comes around. For community news and events, check our email newsletter, website, and the announcement section in your order of service. There is one error in the order of service today, if you'll just make note of it. If you're interested, the last item, vegan-vegetarian group potluck, that is not tonight, that is next Sunday. Now I'm going to, nope, not yet, okay. Yeah, right now I'm going to invite Brad Korb up to talk to you about two different things.
Well, good morning. As Dan said, my name is Brad Korb. I am the chair of your Social Justice Committee. Got a couple of things for you this morning. One is the adult RE will meet after church today. I know there's a lot going on today, but if you get a plate of food during the potluck, and please bring it to the adult RE room, we will be watching and discussing Don't Lose Hope, the famous last words of Dr. Jane Goodall. So yeah, please come on over. We'll probably start about 12:30-ish, depending on how the kickoff for the ABD goes. So, but I'll ring a bell before we need to gather in the adult RE room, but encourage those who are interested to join us for that discussion. Number two. I'm still Brad Korb. And Rashida Doss, who is the executive director for Ashakiran, was going to join us this morning, but they are currently at the hospital with one of their clients who is having an emergency. But today we are sharing our plate with Ashakiran. They are a statewide organization based in Huntsville. Ashakiran means ray of hope in Hindi. Their mission is to educate, empathize, and empower foreign-born people and those from diverse communities by providing free services specific to the needs of survivors of domestic violence, sexual assault, human trafficking, and trauma across the state of Alabama. Ashakiran helps build a healthy and harmonious community by addressing the specific needs of victims of trauma through direct services, community education, and outreach initiatives. Reaching and engaging culturally diverse populations in Alabama is the key tenet to Ashakiran's work. Their team promotes awareness through professional development initiatives, community and victim service provider outreach, and prevention campaigns. Ashakiran's trauma-informed team of direct service staff assists residential and non-residential clients with individualized case management, a 24-hour crisis line, emergency shelter, and individual and group counseling. Please consider giving generously to this important local organization.
After our service, everyone is welcome to join us in the fellowship hall because it's Potluck Sunday. For those that may be new to our congregation, we do that the first Sunday of every month, and March 1st happens to be our first Sunday. If it's your first visit and you forgot to bring a dish, do not worry. Join us anyways. Please, please, please. This is your opportunity to meet other members of the congregation, and we usually have plenty of food. Now I would like to invite Alexis to ring the singing bowl to help us enter into the service more deeply. She did a better job than I did. Excuse my language. Finally, having gathered in a shared quest for truth, meaning, and purpose, let us light our chalice with these words. We gather this hour as people of faith, with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of the life we share together. Thank you, Reverend Jaimie. And now, to help center yourself and quiet your mind, we will have our music for centering, followed by our New Thread song. Make note of that in your order of service.
Good morning, friends. Welcome in. My name is Reverend Jaimie Simon. My pronouns are she and her, and I serve you as the minister here at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Huntsville. As we gather this morning, I imagine that many of us are heartsick and anxious for the fate of our world. Yesterday, the United States, in coordination with the State of Israel, launched military attacks against Iran, killing their leader and killing hundreds of innocent children. According to reports, the U.S. will undertake more military action over the next days and weeks, and retaliative attacks are already underway. In a statement released by the Unitarian Universalist Association, they shared that they have long opposed any intervention into Iran by the U.S. military, and have supported the pursuit of diplomatic resolutions in the region to protect innocent life and global human rights, and to support peace and justice in the area. In shock and horror, and still hope for peace that may one day return, this morning I light our beacon candle. Let this flame Let this flame serve to call us back to our belief that peace may one day be possible for all of the world. May we be a part of that peace. As we enter into our time of worship together, I share with you these words from Michelle LeGrave. We come to religious community from many paths with diverse needs. If you have come here seeking comfort, may your pain be soothed today. If you have come here looking for answers, may you find new questions. If you've come here seeking purpose, may the call of your heart be awakened. If you have come here hoping to build a new way, may the path open before you. Come, beloveds, let us worship together. Now I have the privilege to invite forward our stewardship chair, Zena Tucker, who will tell us a little bit about our annual budget drive and share her love and appreciation for our congregation. Come on up, Zena. Woohoo!
Okay, don't forget this is in your order of service. I want to point it out. But before I really begin, I feel like we've all been really busy and sad, so I had to start with a joke, okay? A UU love song. Tell me why the stars do shine. Tell me why the ivy twines. Tell me why the sky's so blue, and I'll tell you just why I love you. Nuclear fission makes the stars to shine. Phototropism makes the ivy twine. Rayleigh scattering makes the sky so blue. Hormonal secretions, that's why I love you. We UUs are very often serious and scientific. So this year's theme of our pledge drive may cause some pause. Building hope, renewing faith, these are kind of touchy-feely things. But hope is what I feel when I see all of you. My faith in the future is renewed by your presence, by all the wonderful things said and done by this congregation and UUs around the country. And I want to do my part, not only to sustain this church, but to help this faith grow. That's why I've made my financial pledge for the coming year. That's why I give of my time and talent as often as I am able. And UUCH is my primary charitable donation this year. I leave you with a poem by the great Lynn Unger, also a UU. It's called The Rabbits. If you are considering giving up on the state of humankind, I would like to mention that across the river there dwells a woman who shares her tiny apartment with 2 rabbits named Elsa and Walter. She bakes French pastries. She speaks to the rabbits in French, reads them stories about Madeline, who stood in a straight line, unlike the rabbits who lollop about the apartment at will. She gathers greens from the bit of land her city life allows and brings dandelion leaves to Walter and Elsa, who nibble them up with delight, bitter as they are. Thank you. You'll learn more about the pledge drive at potluck, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Zena. You might not have known that your rabbits take us directly into our opening hymn. In times of consternation, in times of joy, in times of clinging to hope, we remember that we are rooted in fertile ground, that we are connected to the earth and all its beauty. I invite you to please rise in body or rise in spirit. Both are beautiful and welcome. As we sing Rooted in Fertile Ground, the words and music are in your order of service. Let's sing together. Friends, after our first hymn, it is our tradition to sing our doxology and speak our words of aspiration. That's on the laminated blue card in your pew back if you're looking for it. And when we get to the words of aspiration, we turn toward the center aisle to face each other, to speak these words as words of promise in community. Let's sing. The spirit of this church. May the quest for truth be its sacrament and service be its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, and to help one another in fellowship. This is our aspiration. You may be seated. And now I'd like to invite forward any children who are in the room this morning, as well as our Director of Religious Education, Jessiah, who has a fun story to share with us. Come on up.
Good morning. Our theme for religious education this month is paying attention. And today we are focusing on paying attention to others around us. And that fits in perfectly with today, because if you didn't know, today is World Compliment Day. So I challenge you to compliment at least 5 people that you see today. Okay. So our story today is about a little girl who pays attention to those around her, and it creates a big difference in the world. And the story is called Ordinary Mary's Extraordinary Deed. Ordinary Mary was so very ordinary that you'd never guess she could change the world. This ordinary kid, she did. She changed the world. One ordinary day, skipping on her way from her ordinary school to her ordinary house, she passed an ordinary vacant lot filled with ordinary bushes growing ordinary berries, ordinary blue and juicy, luscious, lovely berries. Well, Mary picked the ordinary berries and brought them in a big brown bowl to Mrs. Bishop's porch. What? Left berries in a big brown bowl on Mrs. Bishop's porch? That sneaky kid, she did. This made Miss Bishop very, very happy. So she baked a big batch of blueberry muffins and the thought of 5 people who might have brought these beautiful berries. And then she secretly gave each a plate. How great! 5 people got a plate. One of those 5 was her paper boy, Billy Parker. And when Billy saw his name on a note in the driveway and on a plate, he quickly parked his bike and ate every crumb. Oh, yum, 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 he ate every crumb. This made him so glad that the next 5 people got their papers on the porch and not in the bushes where he often threw them. In fact, they were handed right to them. One of those 5 was Mr. Morey, who was so amazed that he smiled for 10 hours on the airplane and then said 5 different people who had heavy bags, "Here, let me help you." He still smiled, and they did too. One of those 5 was Mario, whose cranky little boy James stopped crying when Mr. Morey played peekaboo with him until their ride came. Then he waved goodbye. Mario exclaimed, "How strange that a stranger would be so nice." And the next day when he was out shopping, once, twice, 5 times he did something nice for 5 different people. 5 times without stopping. One of those 5 was Joseph, old and bent and gray, in front of him in line at the produce stand, when he said, "I guess I counted wrong. I really don't need all these oranges." And little James reached out to him with an orange from their basket, and Mario put a coin in Joseph's hand and said, "Here, take this. The oranges are on us." As Joseph shuffled to the bus, his heart was full and his eyes were wet, and his hands did helpful things for the next 5 people he met. One of those 5 was Sahar, a college girl who was off to see the world and stopped at Joseph's shop. When her bag broke and her things fell all over the floor, she said, "Oh no, what will I do?" Joseph said, "This is for you," and gave her a new woven bag he wove with his own hands in red and purple and green. "Oh, thank you," she said. "It's the loveliest bag I've ever seen." When Sahar left, she felt sunny as noon, and she had to shine on 5 people soon. One of those 5 was Sophia, whom she met on a boat, looking like the world might end, looking like someone without a friend. "What beautiful eyes you have," Sahar said. "They're just the color of the flowers on your lovely dress." "Yes," said Sophia. "Oh, yes," said Sahar. The beautiful eyes shed a happy tear, And when the boat trip was through, Sophia called 5 people and made them happy too. One of those 5 was Tom, her son, the doctor, who was having a very hard day. "Hi," she said. "I love you, Tom." "Well, how great to hear your voice," he said. "I always need my mom." Dr. Tom was so cheered up that on his next break, he bought a big bunch of bright balloons for 5 young patients, and he handed them out right then and there. One of those 5 was Peter, a little boy who went home from the hospital that very day. Gratitude for the big bunch of bright balloons filled him and thrilled him and spilled out of him onto the next 5 people who came his way. One of those 5 was Eric, a teenage boy whose sacks and such were way too much, and when he dropped one on the sidewalk, Peter stopped his play and rushed right over, saying, "Super Wheels to the rescue!" Well, Eric, no longer stressed, was very impressed and made a mental note that very afternoon to help 5 people and do it soon. One of those 5 was Di, his 10-year-old sister, who didn't have many friends and was painfully shy. When Eric said, "Hey, sis, want to come to the park and learn how to ride my skateboard?" she looked at him wide-eyed. "Serious?" she cried. "Sure," he said, and because of her brother, Di decided maybe she could be a friend to 5 others. One of those 5 was Louise, a homeless woman who lived under the trees. She could hardly believe her ears when she heard Di say, "May my brother and I buy you a hot dog and a drink at the stand over there?" Could it be true someone actually cared enough to give her food and a smiley face ring that was practically new? Louise was so pleased that she decided that even though she had nothing, she would find 5 others and give them something. One of those 5 was Amara, who lost her wallet in the park. Louise found it full of 5s and 10s and 20s. Oh, what she could do with all that money! But she found Amara's name and called her on the phone, and over she came. Amara was so impressed that Louise was honest, when money was something she clearly needed, that she offered her a job in her store and vowed to do something generous for 5 people more. One of those 5 was Katie, a woman on vacation who wanted to see a show she'd heard was a sensation. "Oh no, it's sold out, but I'm going home tomorrow," her face filled with sorrow. Amara held out her ticket. "I live here," she said. "I can go any time. Take mine." Katie loved the show and was so touched that she thought of buying 5 presents for 5 people back home would be really fun. One of those 5 presents was a little heart necklace for Mary, her niece, who should have seen her eyes light up in surprise. What, ordinary Mary? Yes, ordinary Mary's extraordinary deed had come full circle, and on its way it had changed the lives of every living person. You see, when Miss Bishop made muffins from Mary's blueberries, not only the paper boy, Billy Parker, but the other 4 people too, had made 5 people smile. And those 5 did too, and after a while, in only 16 days, love was sent to every person everywhere. Just see how it went. So there were 1, and then 5, and then 25, and 125, and more, and more, and more, and more, until like 30 billion people. Well, 30 billion is way more than all the people on the planet. So, after everyone had a share and everybody knew that someone cared, there was even love left over. And the world was changed. Thousands and millions and billions agreed it was all because of one ordinary day. Ordinary Mary did a perfectly ordinary, stunningly, earth-shakingly, totally extraordinary deed. The end. Let us now sing our children out.
of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Huntsville, a proudly inclusive spiritual community. Together we build a broader search for meaning, a bolder form of compassion, and a braver voice for justice. At this time, we invite you to support our mission with a monetary contribution. You may donate online using the QR code on your order of service, or you may put cash or check donations in the offering baskets. And be reminded once again, we're doing a share the plate today, so be very generous if you can. Completed circle of candle cards, that's those white cards we talked about earlier, should also be placed in the offering baskets. You are invited to come forward during this time and quietly drop a stone into the bowl of water here next to the ramp, that's right here in this corner, in honor or memory of what you hold in your heart. With gratitude, we now receive the offering.
Friends, will you join me now for a time of prayer, meditation, and reflection? Let us breathe in peace and breathe out love as we hold together all the joys and sorrows we carry along the way. This morning, we have many joys to lift up in community. Laura Ballou shares that Lucas completed his first musical production with Columbia Elementary Drama Club, Dare to Dream Junior. Congratulations, Lucas. We're so proud of you. Amber Phelps shares that her niece was born last week, and after a few days in the NICU, she was able to come home on Friday. Mom had some issues, so had to go back to the hospital, but is getting to come home today as well. We send our prayers to this new family and share your joy as you return home. LaDawn Edwards has a joy to share. A dear friend from college has been planning a return to Iran to settle his family's estate, but was delayed by work and is still safe in San Jose, California. A mixed blessing, but we're so glad your friend is safe, LaDawn. We hold him in our hearts. John Sims Jeter shares in joy, glad to be at UUCH after a too long absence. We're so delighted to see you this morning. Welcome home. And Bridget shares what is both a joy and a sorrow. A joy for the life and music of Microwave Dave, and sorrow that he's passed away, and a joy for his wonderful memorial service that was yesterday. In that complexity and in the remembrance of such a wonderful life well lived, we hold you in prayer. Bob Wilson offers this prayer to us this morning. God, grant me the wisdom to know what I must do, the courage to do it, the humility to be your instrument. Amen. We say to you, Bob. And as we hold these joys and prayers, there are sorrows present with us too. My heart is breaking for the people of Kansas. This week an order came down that would require all transgender people, if the gender marker on their license doesn't match the sex they were wrongly assigned at birth, to relinquish their driver's licenses. This is fascism at work in our nation. This is scapegoating our trans beloveds. And my prayers are with all of them and all those who are working to prevent this harm. Isaac Lambert shares a sorrow. His close friend has been forced out of his home by his neglective parents and is struggling on his own. What sorrow. We hold you, Isaac, and we hold your friend. Melody Breyer asks for your prayers for her mother-in-law, Sandra McMullen, who's in the end stages of the spread of cancer. She's emotionally struggling with the choice of when to transfer or to transition into hospice. What a challenging choice. What a brave road ahead. We hold you, Melody, and think of Sandra and wish her strength in this transition. And Deborah DeLacy asks us to keep her niece, Ariana, in our hearts as the family memorializes her baby next weekend. This child was greatly loved for the 3 weeks she was part of our lives. An absolute tragedy. We are so sorry for your family, Deborah, and we hold you and Ariana and all who loved this sweet child. It is heavy, and it is an honor to be in community with all of you, to know that sorrow exists right alongside joy, to share it, to hold it together, and perhaps to ease each other's burdens by that sharing. May we take one more breath together, breathing in peace and breathing out love. Holding all of this, let us say, blessed be and amen. And we'll sing in response number 1009, Meditation on Breathing. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. I have a reading to share with you this morning. It's written by theologian and Unitarian minister A. Powell Davies. It's entitled, Why I Come to Church. Let me tell you why I come to church. I come to church and would whether I was a preacher or not, because I fall below my own standards and need to be constantly brought back to them. I'm afraid of becoming selfish and indulgent, and my church of the free spirit, brings me back to what I want to be. I could easily despair. Doubt and dismay could overwhelm me. My church renews my courage and my hope. It's not enough that I should think about the world and its problems at the level of a newspaper report or magazine discussion. It could too soon become too low a level. I must have my conscience sharpened until it goads me to the most thorough and responsible thinking of which I am capable. I must feel again the love I owe to others. I must not only hear about it, but feel it. In church, I do. I'm brought toward my best, in every way, toward my best. Our choir will offer us an anthem now, Fairest is Love.
Healer of all
Once upon a time, long ago, a wise woman was traveling in the mountains and came upon a stream. As she was crossing, she looked down and saw a glint of light and found in the water a precious stone. Delighted, she picked it up and carried it with her. The next day, as she traveled the worn path, she met another traveler, a young man who was cold and hungry. The wise woman opened her bag to share her lunch. As she pulled the bread and cheese and apples out of her satchel, the hungry traveler caught a glint of light and saw the precious stone. Boldly, he asked the woman to give it to him, and equally boldly, she did. She gave this young one her precious stone without hesitation. The traveler left rejoicing in his good fortune. He knew the stone was worth enough to give him security for a lifetime. He would not have to beg or ask for help again. But a few days later, he returned to the place where he'd met this wise woman. He found her once more and held out the stone, wanting to return it. "I've been thinking," he said. "I know how valuable this stone is, but I give it back to you with the hope that you will give me something more precious. Give me what you have within you that enabled you to give me this stone." This traveler saw something more valuable than riches in the heart of this wise woman. Without hesitation, without hand-wringing, without knowing all of the plans of what he had to, or what he planned to do with it, she said yes. She handed over her treasure. He saw that she had a spirit of generosity. She was willing to part with her precious stone to show kindness to another. She knew the blessings that kind of selflessness brings. Beloveds, I wonder if you've ever known anyone like this wise woman, someone who says yes to the ask of a neighbor or a stranger. Who have you known who would give you the stone in their satchel? Would you? Have you been this wise woman, giving what you have because, my friends, it feels good to give? I wonder what it is that inspires generosity in your heart. I wonder if we ask you for your treasure, will you say yes? The Reverend Jane Jepka served the Unitarian Universalist Church in Reading, Massachusetts from 1984 to 1999. Side note, years later, this same congregation took me on and allowed me to do my ministerial internship with them. And I'm indebted to them for that kindness. Reverend Jane tells this story from way back in their church history. It's a story of sustaining each other. Here's her words. In the 1930s, of course, times were tough. During that period, members of our church were accustomed to pledging either 25 cents a week or 50 cents a week or $1 a week. In the 1929-1930 church year, all the church members fulfilled their pledges of $13 or $26 or $52. But as the Depression continued, our ledger books begin to show tiny numbers at the bottom of each page. 5 cents, $2, $12, and then a little S. 5 cents short of the pledge, $2 short, $12 short. Just what one would expect during the Great Depression. But picture this. Picture this, friends. Picture more numbers appearing at the bottom of the ledger. $4, 80 cents, $7, 30 cents, and after these numbers, the tiny letter O. $4 over. 80 cents over. There is no evidence in the church records of a special appeal from the Board of Trustees, no traces of public discussion, only the quiet generosity of people. For every pledge that had to fall short, one of many generous people overpaid to compensate. The history of our churches tells us Gandhi was never a member, Mother Teresa never belonged here either, King Midas never showed up, nor Steve Jobs for that matter. Just regular folks like us. They dedicated their babies, they worshiped, they reached out to do their part in the world, they tended to one another, they kept the place going, they tried to live their best lives. Friends, these regular folks that Reverend Jane speaks of are all of us. We are the sustainers of this place. And we, inasmuch as we are able, in these trying times, not the Great Depression, but some other moment here and now, a time we'll surely have a name for in 10 or 30 years, inasmuch as we are able, when so much of us have so much more than we need, and so many of us are barely scraping by, we do what we can. We give to each other and we give for each other. We sustain the place that sustains us. Beloveds, I ask you, when have you stepped up to offer sustenance when others couldn't? When has someone stepped up to cover you, to help sustain you? What does it bring to your heart when you give your time, your talent, and treasure to sustain this place? Will you help us sustain in the year ahead? In 2020, in a little town north of Minneapolis, in the drive-through line of a Dairy Queen restaurant, of all places, something wonderful started to take root. Someone, and no one knows who, told the worker over the headset that they'd like to pay for the car behind them. It didn't matter if they wanted 5 blizzards or 1 simple cone, they wanted to pay for a stranger. And this simple act started a chain reaction. Car by car, people were delighted that their orders had been covered by a stranger, and in turn, they too offered to pay for the car behind them. When the restaurant closed at the end of the night, the last car in line left a $10 bill to start the line over in the morning. For 3 days, for 900 cars in a row, at a random Dairy Queen in the middle of COVID lockdown, people participated in this pay it forward line. And soon this trend popped up everywhere as fast food restaurants and coffee shops. In a time of struggle and sadness, people wanted to do something small to remind each other that even though we're living in isolation, we're actually all on the same team, moving through life together. And soon after this trend took off, we learned from the hardworking and poorly compensated workers of these establishments that as sweet as this pay-it-forward trend was, it caused a lot of logistical confusion, and maybe it would have been better if we'd just tipped our workers well. But the paying it forward idea wasn't the problem. Paying it forward is a lot more than just buying ice cream for the car behind you. It's generosity and sustenance. It's our human inclination to give, knowing that we have received. Our understanding that it takes consistent presence and effort to keep things going, things we want to have keep going. This past year, our church has done some truly amazing things that we should be proud of. We cared for each other in joy and in sorrow, celebrating marriages and celebrating lives lost with honor and joy and exceptional hospitality. We've lightened the burdens of our neighbors, particularly through the government shutdown, with food boxes and full shelves in our pantry. We've helped with financial support through the Minister's Discretionary Fund, where I've paid people's rent, utility bills, given out grocery cards, supported immigrant legal fees. We've lived out our belief in pluralism and our commitment to interfaith understanding by inviting in other congregations, building relationships across difference, and pursuing shared goals. We've shared our values loudly, proudly, out in public through protest and vigil. We've taught our children important truths about their spirits and their bodies, and we've learned from them too, perhaps much more than we teach them. And it's all been possible because of your generosity, because you sustain us, because of your willingness to pay it forward for the next friends who will come through our door wanting a place just like this. Over the next month, we're doing our annual budget drive, where we share with honesty and transparency how we operate as a congregation, how we use our funds, how we make life happen here at this congregation. And this is a time where we ask for your financial gifts too, so that we can budget and plan for the year ahead. This is your opportunity to be generous, to sustain something good, and to pay it forward. Maybe this year you have it better off than you thought you would. In that case, this is the year to give a little more, to dig a little deeper, to be a sustainer of the place that sustains you. And if not, know that we've got you, and it's our privilege to be in community with you. Maybe this is the year you have a precious stone to give, and friends, we are asking for it. And maybe you've received the good love, the generous care, the spiritual riches of this place, and you want the next person and the next and the next who come through the door to receive the same. Can we pay it forward together? Beloveds, if you can and if you will, please pay it forward for this next year. Pay it forward so we can grow and thrive, so we can pay it forward to those coming next and support those in our community who need it now. Pay it forward so we can keep building hope and renewing our faith for years and years to come. I thank you for your generosity. Blessed be and amen. And let's do some singing to close us out. I invite you to rise in body or spirit for number 1024 in the teal hymnal, which is When the Spirit Says Do. This is one of those zipper songs where we get to pick which words we say. So this week we're going to sing do, sing, love, give, and back to do. And I'll call them out so you don't have to keep that memorized. Let's rise in body and spirit and sing together.
concludes our worship service. Now comes to a close. For those on our live stream, thank you for being with us this morning. For those of you here, please join us in Fellowship Hall. And I have to say, while I have this opportunity at the pulpit, totally unscripted, that I'm the first person on the cottage meeting list. And if you don't know me, I just want to assure you and the other people that are identified having the cottage meetings as no children. We really do love children. So, okay, I want you to understand that. I really love children. It's just that we're trying to provide an adult opportunity. So if you do have kids, find a babysitter and come. I promise you we'll help reduce your stress while you're there. Okay, thank you. See you inside.
We extinguish our chalice now, and we go out ready to serve the world. Let us go in peace, inspired to pay it forward, to be generous, and to live sustaining the place that sustains us. We close with our rite of community, and I'll see you in potluck. Amen and blessed be. Amen, blessed be, and go in peace.